Hey, yo, Data Guy here, back with another video on Airflow. So today, what I'm going to be going through is showing you how you can run Airflow locally using this super cool tool my colleague Kaxil developed called Airflow CTL without any need for Docker. So this will just start up Airflow just kind of as a local application. So if, obviously Docker has a lot of advantages in terms of, being able to easily access the logs, manage it, and actually have a production light environment. But this is also really good, hey, maybe your organization doesn't allow you to download Docker. Maybe your organization has really strict controls and, you just want a super lightweight tool so you can just play around with Airflow and you're not really worried about production. And before I get into it and show you how this all works, if you like my content, drop a sub, drop a like. It helps me out. And I love also helping you out. So without further ado, let's get into it and I'll show you how this all works. So basically what this is going to do is, and I'll drop this like GitHub repo in below. It's just open source Airflow out of the box, nothing fancy. It's a pip package, so you just go pip install Airflow CTL. And so now I'm going to kick it over to VS Code and show you, the actual process of building this and what it looks like. So the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously install pip Airflow, install Airflow CTL. Already done it, so it's going to go real quick for me. And then what we're going to do is just initialize a new project called my Airflow project. And you can see that this Airflow project is being initiated just under my user folder. It's installing kind of all the necessary packages. You can see Airflow 2.6, the necessary Python packages, build dependencies, just, all using pip, so nothing super fancy here, because it's basically creating a Airflow virtual environment rather than using Docker. It's creating its own separate isolated environments that it can use whatever Python version it wants. And I believe with this as well, you can specify, or I don't believe, I know you can also specify the Python version. So maybe you're using certain packages that only work with certain versions of Python. You can actually initialize a new project by specifying just -- Python version and Python version 3.8, let's say. And what that will do is create a new file structure, which I'll show you in a second once this finishes building. And so once it's finished building here, it's going to give you your admin password, and you'll use this link to actually access Airflow. So let's kick it over to the local Airflow environment. It just spun up. And actually, before we kick it over to the actual Airflow UI, I do want to go through kind of the file structure here because it is a little bit different from what you might be used to. So you can see here we have our web server config, we have a standalone admin password, and here's where you can define, hey, maybe I want to, even though I want a quick start, I want to change the Airflow version, I want to change the Python version, I want to predefine some connections to be built at startup, or set some Airflow variables. So those will be set in this settings YAML file, so instead of your environment variables file. You still have your requirements.txt, you have an Airflow DB file, and as well, your Airflow configs file, so you can just find, hey, this is the path to your DAGs folder, hostname, whatever executor you want to use, just all the typical Airflow configuration variables. You also have your Airflow web server PID, your .environment file, and you also have your example DAG. So here you can also look at the logs, just all typical Airflow things here, and you can also look at your actual Python virtual environment to see the configuration details of that. So slightly different, but still has all the usual Airflow features in a local Airflow directory, just maybe a little bit of a different file structure than you might be used to. So just wanted to quick level set you on what's going on there. And now we can kick it over into our locally hosted Airflow environment. And so now what we can see here is a locally hosted non-Docker open source Airflow environment. Obviously, it's going to give us the classic error messages of don't use SQLite, don't use the sequential executor, because they're both obviously terrible. Why would you use a sequential executor when you're using Airflow for all the things it can do outside of sequential execution? But this just really provides you a super basic, easy to set up Airflow environment in like 3 minutes. Like I didn't really cut around a lot for this video. It is very fast to set up and run. You can configure whatever version you want. You can configure the version of Airflow, Python. You can choose to set up your install script. And this, obviously you're going to want to go with something like Astro for production, because this isn't going to hook into your CI/CD processes very well. This isn't going to hold up when you're actually pushing code from here to production because you're not testing it in a production light environment. But if you're just trying to test out DAGs, if you're trying to explore Airflow and you want a super easy way to get started, check out the Airflow CTL if you don't have Docker. So that's all I have for you today. Super quick video. Just thought it was a really cool feature that he just made over the weekend. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, and stick around for more great data content. Data Guy out.